Hi and welcome to the channel. All of the stories here are based on real people within my friend group, or people who I have worked with or met over the years. I'm not qualified to give professional advice, but hope that from my experience and the experiences of those around me, that this channel could maybe help some people to navigate tricky situations that many people face throughout life. Today, we're diving into a story that many of us can relate to. One-sided friendships. Have you ever felt like your friendship has become a little toxic? And that your friend is only there when they need you? That they are no longer there just because they enjoy the friendship and the laughs and the company? Well, meet Jenny, a 30-year-old with a heart of gold, who's been navigating the tricky waters of her friendship with Chloe. Let's explore Jenny's story and uncover the signs that might indicate that the friendship had become unbalanced. Jenny and Chloe met in high school and quickly became inseparable. They would have sleepovers, they would holiday with each other's families, and were happiest when they were hanging out together. The friendship continued after they had left school, and they shared many moments and significant life events when growing up. Boyfriends, college, starting work at their first jobs. As close friends do, they shared much laughter, their dreams, and helped each other through life's ups and downs. However, over the years their friendship took a turn. After a tough breakup a couple of years back, Chloe found herself leaning heavily on Jenny. Now, Jenny has always been a great listener. All of our friend group will go to Jenny because she is great at putting things into perspective and gives really good advice. And Chloe knew that Jenny would always be there to support and comfort her and give her advice. But what happens when that support turns into something else, or is taken for granted or not reciprocated? Whilst being there for a friend when they need you is crucial, Jenny soon realized that when she had a catch-up with Chloe, something had changed. They rarely had as much fun as they used to, and Chloe always seemed to have some sort of problem that she needed Jenny to listen to. Their conversations now revolved entirely around Chloe's struggles, with Jenny often feeling like a sounding board or an unpaid therapist, rather than a friend. Chloe would have a problem with her relationship, but the problem would never be resolved. It would be the same problem month in, month out when they met up. Issues with her partner that didn't ever seem to change, or problems at work, or with family members. Chloe had the same problems for years that she didn't seem to fix, and it started to seem like Chloe didn't actually care about the problems. She just wanted to vent to somebody because it made her feel better. This started to drain Jenny. She would end up feeling like she had taken on Chloe's problems because she had listened to them for so long. She could have possibly turned a blind eye to this had they still had some of the fun that they used to. Still had the laughs and the giggles. But as time went on, this happened less and less. Then Jenny started to notice that when she tried to share her own experiences, Chloe would quickly redirect the focus back to her own problems. And although Jenny considered herself a strong person who rarely had problems that needed to be fixed by others, she avoided drama so rarely got stressed. She was also good at breaking problems down and dealing with her own challenges privately. But there were still times when she needed a shoulder to cry on, or someone to vent to, or just somebody to listen to her. And at some point, Chloe had stopped being that friend who would listen. Jenny told me that one significant moment opened her eyes to what their friendship had become. Jenny lost her job 2 months ago and still hadn't managed to find a new one. She was feeling scared and useless and unsure of where to turn next, and she felt vulnerable. She was so pleased to be meeting up with Chloe one day because she needed a friend. She started to explain to Chloe how frightened she was because she thought she would have found a new job by now. She started to tell her friend how lost she felt. Until Chloe cut in saying, "Oh, that reminds me of the time that and then proceeded to talk about herself instead. She talked about a non-event a year ago when she thought she was going to lose her job, but then didn't, and how it had made her feel. Instead of acknowledging Jenny's feelings or problem, Jenny felt so disappointed. And she was hurt because it was at that point that she realized that her friend didn't really care what she was going through. She was too wrapped up in herself. Later, when she was trying to figure out what had happened to their friendship, which had once been a great friendship. She would ask herself when it had become so one-sided and how she had not noticed. She would ask herself why. Was it her fault? Was it because she had always made herself available to listen to her friends' problems? Had she created a situation where that was all her friend saw her as? A problem solver and somebody to vent to? Because at some point, her friend had started to take her for granted and had started to expect that she was there just to listen to her problems. Eventually this one-sided dynamic started to take an emotional toll on Jenny. She was really sad that her oldest friend had so little regard for their friendship anymore. She felt alone because she no longer had that close friendship where Jenny could share her problems, and it was a really sad and lonely feeling. And actually, a study from the University of California indicates that unbalanced friendships can lead to feelings of sadness and frustration. And this certainly started to be the case for Jenny. Many of Chloe's problems were ongoing, often recurring themes that Jenny had heard about for years. Often she seemed to create problems just so that she could talk about herself, and it grew exhausting to listen to the same issues over and over again when she did little to resolve them. As Chloe continued to vent without acknowledging Jenny's feelings or her problem, Jenny felt increasingly isolated and undervalued.
Eventually, Jenny decided that it was time for an honest conversation with Chloe. She was hoping that once she explained to Chloe how she felt, that Chloe would try to consider her feelings and not always be so wrapped up in her own problems. So she told Chloe that she really valued their friendship, but she had been a bit overwhelmed by her lately. She told her what an amazing person she was, but that she sometimes felt that Chloe only came to see her so that she could listen to her problems, and that she seemed to only see her as somebody to vent to. Jenny accepted that friendships can change, and that she felt that theirs had become a habit, and that she felt a little used. She explained that sometimes she needed Chloe to listen to her. The way she listened to Chloe, Jenny had hoped that being honest and blunt was the best approach, and that Chloe might take on board what had been said. Unfortunately, Chloe didn't respond as Jenny had hoped. Instead of understanding, she brushed off Jenny's concerns and seemed annoyed that she had brought it up. She told Jenny that she had problems of her own at the moment and needed to focus on her own issues. It was clear that Chloe did not acknowledge any fault, and this lack of self-awareness shattered Jenny's hope that their friendship could be fixed. Jenny realized that sometimes, despite our best efforts, not all friendships are meant to last or are meant to continue the way they were indefinitely. Feeling unappreciated, she had to distance herself from Chloe for a while, as the friendship was draining her and making her feel down. It was a really painful decision, and she said that she actually felt grief because she felt that she had lost her oldest friend, and that although she knows they will still have some sort of friendship, the friendship she thought they once had possibly come to an end, and that was a really sad feeling. At the same time, though, Jenny understood that it couldn't continue how it was. Friendship has to be a two-way street. She deserves a friendship that nourishes rather than drains. Sometimes even the longest of friendships can fade if one person fails to recognize the needs of the other. Jenny and Chloe are still friends. They still meet up for a catch-up and enjoy each other's company on nights out with mutual friends, but they are still not as close as they used to be. Jenny is fine with this. It is sad, but the friendship they have now is an easy friendship, where Jenny no longer feels that she is expected to be the therapist for problems that will never be solved. They may no longer share their deepest, darkest secrets, and they may no longer be each other's go-to when something big or exciting happens in their lives, but it is pleasant, and it is no longer draining or toxic. Thank you for joining me today. If this story resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more discussions on navigating life and relationships. Would you have dealt with this differently? Do you think in this situation they can get back the close friendship? Please share your views in the comments. And remember, it's important to surround yourself with people who value you and who are there for you, as much as you are for them. I hope to see you in the next video.